We must not become part of South Africa's problem. We must remain part of their solution. We must not aim to impose ourselves, our solutions, our favorites in South Africa. Damn it, we have favorites in South Africa. The favorites in South Africa are the people who are being repressed by that ugly white regime. We have favorites. Our loyalty is not to South Africa, it's to South Africans. And the South Africans are majority black, and they are being excoriated. It is not to some stupid puppet government over there. It is not to the Afrikaners regime. We have no loyalty to them. We have no loyalty to South Africa, to South Africans. And the fact of the matter is I listen to this rationale first of all. It is the leaders of South Africa and their people, black and white, who have the majority responsibility. They must rise to it. Well, they are rising to it. They're rising to it. The only thing left available to them with that repulsive, repugnant regime of Afrikaners there. And it's the only way they have. They've tried everything for the last 20 years. They begged, they borrowed, they crawled, and now they're taking up arms. The second thing, progress toward peace requires a timetable. Timetable, elimination of apartheid. What's our timetable? What are we saying to that repugnant regime? Are we saying you've got 20 days, 20 months, 20 years? We ask them to put up a timetable. What's our timetable? These people are being crushed. And we're sitting here with the same kind of rhetoric. The same thing we heard. We heard go slow. We heard we have to take care of the problem afterwards. We heard we can't impose.
You are totally misconstruing the testimony that I gave.
We spent several days in South Africa, and obviously no one able to see him on Robben's Island, but making our case. And after he got elected president, he came by to see me because I was on the Foreign Relations Committee. He thanked me, along with I assume everyone else that had gone on that trip, for supporting sanctions against apartheid.
So Joe Biden has been basically lying about something that happened to him in South Africa. It didn't actually happen. His campaign has now admitted that.
I spent my whole life fighting for civil rights, voting rights, social justice, economic justice. And that's what I'll do when I'm your president. This day, 30 years ago, Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robben's Island. When he came to the United States, when he came to the White House, to the Senate, I was chairman of the committee, and he walked in, and the most incredible thing I've ever felt in my life, he walked across in that private room with the big table we have in the executive room, and he walked over, and I said, Mr. President, he leaned, I said, thank you. Thank you for trying to come and see me.
Yikes, because I don't think that actually happened. Joe Biden's 2020 campaign has admitted the former vice president was not arrested for trying to visit Nelson Mandela at a South African prison during apartheid after the Democratic candidate used the claim at least 3 times during appearances in recent weeks. In campaign visits to Nevada and South Carolina, Mr. Biden claimed he was arrested with the US ambassador to the United Nations in Soweto, despite there being no publicly available evidence of the incident. It is also unclear why Mr. Biden would have been arrested in Soweto for trying to visit Mandela, as the city is hundreds of miles away from the island where the anti-apartheid activist was imprisoned. He took a trip with a congressional delegation in the 70s. This is their excuse. He was separated from the Congressional Black Caucus members he was traveling with at the airport when he landed. Kate Bedingfield, Mr. Biden's communications director, told reporters on Wednesday. When making that remark, he was talking about his long record fighting apartheid. He was one of the leading voices in the United States Senate in the 80s. However, Ms. Bedingfield could not justify Mr. Biden's use of the word arrest or a coda he added to the story in which Mandela personally thanked him over the incident.
Well, yeah, but when he said that, he was talking about his long record. Okay, no, I guarantee, yeah, he's got the long record. He also viciously lied. That was a crazy, absurd lie. He didn't, and it's not the first. This isn't one random slip of the brain. Biden has been exaggerating or wholly falsifying his behavior during the civil rights movement for decades now.
I think this is just another piece in his record where he's trying to whitewash what he's done. And this doesn't make any of that better. And the fact that you're lying about it actually makes it much, much worse. And so he doesn't get to feel like the hero when he's looking back in history because he wasn't there. He didn't have the foresight. He wasn't progressive enough to know that he should have been on the right sides of those issues. But now he gets to, because he's lying and making up stories, he gets to get the political gains and capital and gets to feel in his heart like he's some sort of moral person when he wasn't actually in those fights. So the debate moderators should feel ashamed that they didn't ask him about this because it's extremely relevant to his record. This
is the individually most shocking lie, but there are a lot to be looked at.
You now say you weren't arrested and it didn't happen in Soweto. You were at the airport in Johannesburg and you were stopped from going through the door for blacks. I guess the question is, were you confused or were you just trying to embellish a story?
No, what I was doing was talking about the fact that I was strongly opposed to apartheid. When we landed in we were going to Soweto actually, we landed in Johannesburg, and the Afrikaners took me off the plane, took me in one direction, wanted me to go through a white-only door, and in fact I wouldn't move. I said everybody else is going through another door. I'm going with the black delegation that I came with. They said, no, you can't. And I said, well, I'm standing here. I'm not going to move, and they would not let me move anywhere. So I guess I should have said I was detained. I was not able to move forward. So what they finally did was they went out and they cleared out a baggage claim area, took us all up through the baggage claim area up and cleared out a restaurant.